Hello, what is up? Thank you to everybody who's joining in already. A little bit of a surprise live stream this time. We're going to have a couple guests. One for sure, one's a maybe. They're seeing if they can get away. But yeah, we have a day before the last two majors starts. And I thought it would be cool to get on here and talk about what's been going on a little bit. Obviously, the All-Star Weekend shows have stirred up some controversy. So I'm going to share my opinion on it as well as my guests. And, we'll go from there. As always, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as this is a way of connecting with you guys. There will be more videos to come. And of course, thank you to Jillian, who does all the video editing and getting this stuff together for me. But without further ado, we are going to bring in the first guest. He was the 900 global representative for the Strike Derby, and one of the hottest young players on tour. He's a teammate of mine this year. So excited to be working with him a little bit, and we're going to be bowling the PBA League together. But here's Ryan Barnes.
What's going on? Thanks for having me. Glad to be on here.
I dislike you sometimes. I like you, as you may know. We've had the chance to play some video games together, bowl together a little bit. We're going to have the chance at the PBA League in a couple weeks. But it's no surprise to me at the year you're having on the PBA Tour. I know that maybe you would like to have had better TV experiences. But I think, dude, you're doing pretty solid. And
Appreciate
so,
that.
I would just like you to maybe give a little rundown of what you think. I want to hear your opinion on how your season's gone.
Yeah, qualifying's gone pretty well for most of the year. I qualified pretty high in most of the classic events. I bowled pretty bad at the two majors, but
hey, there's two more chances though.
Yeah, two more chances. Well, maybe probably just one because I'm not qualified for the TOC. So yeah.
Well, that can change.
That can change.
Do you have a regional title?
I don't. So
Ryan,
I've had my card for this year, literally only.
All right, chat. Everybody get in here and scream at Ryan for not bowling enough regionals yet. Because in my opinion, and probably everybody else's opinion in here, as long as you keep bowling them, you're going to win one. Maybe 100.
It's tough when Eric Jones and Dio Bernard run over our region. So
all right, I respect that. I mean, I get that. Well, I did not know that, so I'm sorry. I did not mean to.
No, you're good. Me and Dad get a chance to bowl a doubles before. It's the day before the TOC PDQ.
So. Wouldn't that be something? The one in Avon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I know there's a bunch of
that would be so fun if you won on Sunday, PTQ Monday, into the TOC. Fun fact: my first ever TV show was at the TOC as a regional champion.
I
qualified second as a regional champion at the tournament.
What a dog!
Tom Clark didn't seem super thrilled with me at the time, but I was happy.
Yeah. When was that?
That was 2018. In February of 2018, I won my first regional in July of 2017. And then, PTQ'd our way in. And on that show was 3 regional champions at the tournament champion show. It was something. All right. So, everybody knows who else is coming in for the most part. Our boy Sharky KP is here. I don't know how we're going to set this up. One of us is kind of have to be big the whole time. So we'll make him the big one for now.
What up? I didn't have my headphones turned on, so I didn't hear anything that you guys said when I came in.
I said a bunch of great things, man.
I bet. What up?
Dude, is that a new mic?
No, it's just a different color.
It's glowing. All right, sick. Yeah, so, KP, we're just talking about Ryan's season thus far, how he has not enjoyed the majors. He loves qualifying, and TV shows aren't his friend.
Yeah, really the strike derby that everybody watched today, it was just a gift to give them a little confidence, you know.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Dude, I was talking to Packy and I go, man, I'm gonna only throw like 12 or 13 shots and I have to strike on all of them because dude's gonna throw like somewhere between like 16 and like 20 shots depending on how fast the racks are. And he's probably gonna have, you know, somewhere between like 8 and 12 strikes depending on like the carry, because the carry on the like far left lane was kind of crap the whole time. Like it was just bad.
I think the topography on that lane in general was very tough.
Yeah.
There's so
we
much
saw
better
that.
down lane.
Yeah, very tough. But yeah, because the three of us were involved in All-Star Weekend in some sort of fashion, I thought it would be fun to come on and talk about it. You know, Facebook yesterday, every post was something related to string pins. And
Mhm.
I think there's just like a huge misconception out there. I really do. I think there's a huge misconception of bowlers thinking that we're just about to bowl on them full time. Like,
Yeah.
that is
People
such
thought
a yeah, that is such a like that was a fairly niche event, and I thought it was actually like the perfect event for us to bowl on string pins and compete on it and see like what it was all about.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing is like we did see on occasion that the pin carry is going to be different, right? But I think that the benefits of string pins vastly outweighs the negatives. Like, I mean, if we think of like messengers on free fall, like we can. Oh, also, I didn't realize I sent a messenger on the string pins
Yeah,
in our. I
that was sick.
Yeah, I was like, why is he hype right now? And then I watched it back today and I was like, oh, okay, sick. Like I didn't know I sent one, but it makes sense. You know, use your thumb, get those messengers on the string pins. But you, but you can obviously get the trip fours, you can get the messengers, you can scout the 9, like you can get all of those different hits. It's just maybe not as, you know, exciting and powerful as what we're used to. So I think that the lack of mechanical knowledge in the bowling world and the fact that it's the people that can actually work on like A2s and GSXs and have that mechanical inclination as far as like working on those types of machines, how they're dwindling. The string pins make that so much easier. It's mostly a computer program. And if you have to like replace a pin, I mean, EJ did it on one of our practice pairs. He did it in like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. I think
that there's a lot of benefits. I think there's a lot of benefits. I believe, from my personal opinion, that the one thing I actually loved about it in the competition of it is I felt like you had to throw really good shots to strike.
Mhm.
Now that could have been the pattern, but I really felt like to get the ball through the pins the right way, like it was so much easier to flat 10. How many times did we see like 4 9s or 4 9 10s that are normally, well, I guess what I would say is normal. We don't know that to be factual, but it felt like those would normally trip out. Like
Right.
Matt Ogle leaving a 4 9 10 is insane. Like, especially given like the angles we were using, it's not like we're bowling on cheetah where the ball's covering 35 boards. So I thought that was actually a benefit of it, that we had to throw really good shots to strike. I think that's my favorite part about bowling on television. Like there's so much pressure and then you're trying to like ace it as well. Ryan, what was your thoughts on the strike derby?
Obviously, man, as a two-hander, I don't like string pins because the pocket gets smaller.
Oh, what a shame, man.
But-
What a shame.
Hey, it's personal opinions, right?
Yeah,
right?
no, I get it.
But yeah, obviously, the thing is it does reward shot making. Your entry angle has to be better. Everything has to be better. There's not as many lucky breaks as you can see. I mean, Belmo pocket 4 pins to lose the strike derby. I think it leads more towards the professional side than the arcade side almost because of the lack of reward. But there's also some funky things that like the 6 spin doesn't come out of the gutter as well. It doesn't come off the sides well. I think there could still be improvements, but
yeah, no. And we're always going to believe that there's going to be improvements because we're used to something.
yeah,
like I've now been bowling 27 years on free fall. Like my eyes are so used to like when my ball hits a certain way, I'm expecting something
you
to
just-
happen. You know, like KP, I mean, we talk about it sometimes, like how people have certain hits, right? Like KP has a trip 4 hit. It's like a hit that he's actually accustomed to seeing when his ball does something certain, right? And if it happens less often, you're gonna be like weirded out by it. You're gonna be like, but that's my hit. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
we've literally had this conversation all the time because
KP, do we have a light you can turn on? We have
no.
some people wanting to see your face.
He was
Nope.
born in the darkness.
Unfortunately, it's the window behind me. I'm in
Yeah.
the office. There's actually not a light in this office.
I got
So
you.
I'm just gonna be the mysterious dude.
She's a little flashlight.
I need
Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
shadow figure.
there, I got you. Here, I'll turn my phone on. Is that better? I get
that's,
it.
yeah, that's fine. No,
And
you're
ghost
good, bro. Keep
stories
going.
with
Keep
Chris
going.
The but like I practice on string pins all the time, so it's weird for me going from string pins to free fall on tour because like you were just saying, I'm so accustomed to seeing the trip 4s and then practicing on string pins. Like it's like it gets in my head of like I'm not super confident using more of the head pin to get that trip 4 from any angle because I don't see it at home. I don't see it when I'm bowling on their house pattern where you could strike for 4.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
And now I go out on tour and I'm like, okay, it's got to be 10 back every single time. And if you watch, like I have to be bowling like really, really good to have the trip 4 and the messenger 10 going, or even just one of them.
Do you
Because
think that it would be beneficial for training centers to be mainly string pin because it would actually probably feel easier going to free fall to strike?
Yes, I think it would be really good to use string pins to learn what good and bad deflection is.
Yeah,
Because I
I
think that
agree with that for sure.
I think you see so much more of the bad deflection because we're so accustomed to having bad deflection and then the head pin coming across and taking the 10 pin out, right?
Yeah.
All of those flat 10s are still flat 10s on free fall. The difference is the head pin isn't being slowed down by the string ever so slightly, and it's making it all the way over there to the 10 pin.
Have you
Right.
guys ever bowled on gold pins?
No.
No.
They feel super similar. Like
That's
if
what
you go
Dad
watch,
was saying.
if you go to shows, that your dad was on. I have so many fun jokes I could use. With some gold pins, they just look like they move slower.
We're just
They
full
fall a
of
little
podcasts.
harder. And I had the opportunity to bowl on a couple in MGMAs when I was growing up, and that's exactly what this weekend felt like. Is that like you could not rely on the head pins scattering all the way across the lane. You could rely on some light dicers, kind of, but you weren't ever going to play the lanes to a point where you were relying on the head pin to do a lot of work. So it was different for me personally because my ball choices changed. Like the balls I would have used in practice that would normally give me some light dicer hits, or I feel like would scatter some pins, have a lot of energy at the head pin, I couldn't use. I had to use something that actually rolled faster and almost rolled out to a touch, but then just made sure it had better entry angles. So I thought that was super interesting. And it took me a decent amount of time to kind of learn the right way to do it.
I think your speed control has to be so much better matched up on the string pins too. Like you can't just, for example, you can't just fling it 100 and they don't just.
Yeah.
Like that has to go to the 8 pin or else it just won't strike.
Yeah. So guys, I'm not sure if this is gonna work or not. I'm gonna try to bring us all to one side of the screen real quick. All right, this is perfect.
Oh wow.
This is perfect. And so because we both have one-handers and two-handers in this thing, we just wanted to share one more time the absolute beatdown
Oh
that the
God.
one-handers put on. And we're just gonna share some of these hits. It actually wasn't that much. It was honestly a super interesting match because game one we were down through like 6-ish frames, 7-ish frames, and then Belmo 4-9. Again, a hit that you're not expecting, and then you just 4-9s, and you're like, whoa, like we have a chance again. And then we bowled a really good back half of that game. And I think that the left lane was really the deciding factor. Us winning that first game on the left lane really dictated the whole match.
And that was literally our game plan. Like that was what we talked about. We were like, we're going to start on the left lane, guarantee
and we
that
have to win game one.
Yeah.
That's how we felt, truthfully, because like the right lane was the better lane for sure.
Yeah, the ball got down the lane for free on the right lane.
So you guys chose to
because we were
on the harder lane.
Of course, right off the rip.
Yeah, we get some random ad, but yeah, we decided to start on the harder lane because that means that whenever we go to the roll off, like if it goes 2-2,
butter.
So that hit right there is that is such a common string pin hit. Like when I'm here practicing, I get that all the time. That's the equivalent of like a wrap dime for me.
Yeah, and so what I think is interesting is people say that the strings do all this damage and they knock pins over that shouldn't fall over. And look at this. Like there is 7 strings that wrap around this 7 pin.
And none of them it doesn't touch.
It's so gross.
Yeah. But then we also have, we're going to skip mine because the 2 main shots I actually want to talk about are KP's first 2. And, at this point in time, like we're thinking, it's just, I mean, it's crazy. And I think I'm going to pause this for a second and maybe like just vent for a second. The misconception that it's easier is incorrect, in my opinion. I don't believe that it's that much different. They're just noticeable like hits that are different, like you might get some like I didn't see many dicer 7s,
right,
but I saw a bunch of 9 pins. I didn't see a lot of messengers, but I actually thought that the roll 2 was kind of there, like
for sure.
So I think that there's some give and take, and so and another thing that needs to be talked about too is like there's been a lot of studies on string pins, right? And so the length of the string pin matters so much. And so I asked the person who did it, they're 54 inches. And the USBC studies have shown that 54 to 55 inch string pins are within like 2% in average of free fall. And so, like, is it just our eyes playing tricks on us, seeing all these strings go everywhere, that's making us, like, feel like there's a difference? I mean, because, KP, I can't help but smile, because you smile in this, too. Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Look at all the strings just hanging there. And fudge.
Yeah. Well, the reason I was laughing is because everyone was cheering all the way up until I was literally coming into my slide, and all of a sudden they stopped. So I was like, "Oh,
yeah, keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Like you guys are good. Keep doing it."
Yeah. You know what shot we got to share? What is this? The game? No, it's the last game where This is the highlight for me of crowd energy joining a bowler. Here we go. This is super cool, honestly. One, I'm glad you struck. Get the 10 out late.
Yeah. So I thought that might have been a string pin hit. That's why I looked at Tony. I was like, "Does it count?" And I yelled shark bait, and So it was cool.
Fire.
Yeah. It was cool. And you know what's funny is I was just talking to a kid yesterday or the day prior to the show about like that being his like college chant. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Obviously, I forgot about it. And so he commented on the post that the PBA made, like, "Oh, dude, bro stole my chant or whatever." And I had to go on there like, "Brother, it wasn't my idea. I promise."
Yeah. All right, let's not talk about string pins that much longer. Do you guys have anything you want to add to it?
The only thing I would say is like I hope that either the manufacturers or USBC run more tests where they like, because right now the strings just drop and then they're semi tight, right? Like as soon as they get hit, they're on a pulley or a spool that releases all the string. I want there to be tests done to see how pin carry differs if there is slack in the line. So that way, because like when you roll a 2-pin, right, that pin, sorry, you can't see my hand, but that 2-pin is like gingerly laid down on the deck. It's like
Yeah.
slow,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it
yeah.
falls, right?
Yeah,
So there's
we
that.
can show one. I have some. Let me find it.
Yeah. So
while you
there's
talk
like
about it.
there's that like slight bit of resistance, and I think that's why the pins don't move around like free fall in the way that we're used to, right? Because as soon as we hit the head pin on free fall, that thing is absolutely blasted into the 2-pin in most cases, right?
Oh, 100%. Like it's flying across the lane.
Right. And I think the reason why the pin carry is so much different is because there's resistance whenever you hit every single pin.
I
Right?
mean, it was back. Like,
Yeah,
it,
like
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I was honestly surprised. It felt like I did not think that a hit like that would happen
Right.
during the telecast.
So, and you can see like all the strings are tight and then they become
yeah,
loose.
you can
I
see
think
the
if
resistance.
so I think if they started loose and then, didn't have the initial like slowdown, I think that would make carry better. And I think people would be a little bit more, more accustomed to seeing hits that they're used to, right? There wouldn't be, not that the messengers would necessarily connect all that much. Yes, I am. Witness protection from Ryan. Tired of this beat down talk on the strike derby.
You started it.
I did. I know. It's fine. But it was, I think that the thing that we'd have to talk about then would be just from like my experience in fishing and using like bait casters, the potential backlash and like tangling of the lines and stuff. But that's way more technical. But I do think like some testing of like having the strings already loose so there's not that resistance could make a huge difference in people's perception of them.
And it's probably just certain pins too. Like,
yeah, I mean the head pin is definitely got to be one. I think the 1359.
I think the 5-pin's probably the biggest change.
Yeah, the 4 pins that the ball hits directly would be whether it's right or left. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9.
Yeah,
I think those 6 pins would be crucial to having them at least somewhat looser, to where they move freely.
It's interesting. I think that at the end of the day, like if there's PBA events on string pins, like we're showing up, and like, we're just gonna learn how to deal with it. And what I felt like I noticed was that total, as my last thing about the string pins, is the only thought that I really had leaving there was I felt it make the pattern play more true because you weren't dealing with a bunch of off hits. You were just like, let's bowl good. You gotta throw it well. Like even EJ, I know he didn't miss too often, but the couple times he did miss, I felt like they were ones that would probably strike on free fall.
Yeah.
With the messenger in front, and the 4-pin. But yeah, so let's get into the one-handed versus two-handed talk, because that's like the other thing. I don't know if this is like the end all be all. Like one-handers beat two-handers in a best of 3 match.
that's it. They're better.
Like what I think that if there's anything that EJ's proving, and hopefully that all of the one-handers are proving, is that we're still here to stay. Like the overtaking that people talk about sometimes, like, oh my God, like one-handers are going to be non-existent in 3 to 5 years. That's just not true. Especially if the pattern plays really difficult. I feel like that's where the advantage to having your thumb and maybe more touch comes into play. But when you get two-handers that have a ton of touch, obviously that's where the dominance factor really takes over. Would you guys agree? No?
Yeah,
I would just say the better shot makers are just when they're harder, which tends to be one-handers because they're just more consistent. Whether it's because they're one-handed or they're just more stable, but one-handers seem to obviously be better on the harder stuff unless they're Belmo or Simo or some of that stature.
I think that
your dad is coming in, man. Your dad
he is ready.
He must be so bored right now.
He's
So bored.
Yeah.
He should go practice the strike derby again.
Yeah.
Oh
I
god.
See if
gave him
you
the goal this week.
see if you can make it longer in the 2 minutes than I did when Ryan beat me.
Oh god.
I but I think that if you take urethane away, right? Obviously, it's here to stay. Like, I'm not saying like urethane is whatever. Like, I'm not on that. But I do think that like one of the two-handers' biggest issues is like if urethane didn't exist, is that they would be at a huge disadvantage because of their extremely high rev rates, making their ball react so quickly to the friction and be so uncontrollable whenever the pattern is super fresh. Not to say that they can't learn or anything like that, but that is one of the things that I feel like we would see in the youth side of it, massively, is as they're developing their skills, the one-handers would eventually catch up once they're bowling on those harder patterns. And I do think that one of the two-handers' biggest advantages is being able to create more room front to back as far as the windows that their ball can pick up in, as well as creating that miss room left to right with their rev rates.
Yeah, I mean, like it's going to be an endless debate, but I think that both are good for the game. At the end of the day, like just like if people are bowling, I'm happy. If you want to bowl one-handed, two-handed, with your foot, with your toes, I don't care. As long as you're bowling, and then like it's our job as competitors, just find a way to win. Like by thumbs in there, thumbs out of it, I still have to find a way to win the event, and I think that's like there's nothing unfair about it. There's just at the end, exactly. Like we're all trying to knock over 10 pins, sometimes with strings in them. Like it's just, yeah. And I did not listen to Aaron's commentary. I'll go back and I could probably actually find it here. I don't know when he was on commentating. They probably show it, right?
Yeah, it's pretty early. I think
Was it early?
Game 1 or game 2?
I remember them show a picture of Darren like in there.
I think he talked about his footwork and stuff, but I don't know.
Darren, yeah. So while I try to find that, for the chat, what questions do we have for the guys? We are starting the players. The last two majors of the year, a lot of points on the lines next 2 weeks, a lot of things on the line. The tour finals, the playoffs, PBA league standings. A lot going on these next couple of weeks. And yeah, Ryan, we got to all cheer Ryan on in the regional next weekend. Get him into the TOC PTQ. But what are our thoughts, guys, on the two majors and the season? Who wants to start?
Go ahead, KP. Go ahead, big dog.
I mean, we always think of the season kind of boiling down to the World Series. And I like the fact that they have moved the World Series back or up in our schedule. So it's not like your season is made or not by this event. We still have the players. Obviously, TOC is going to be tier 2 points. It's not tier 1, even though it's a major, because not everybody can bowl. So you have one opportunity, 1.5 technically, to really try to bowl as well as you can to catapult yourself into that top 40 number to stay exempt, and even get that opportunity at a major title. So I think that everyone has been bowling, all year, should be pretty sharp. So scores are going to be pretty high. Plus the guys over at Jack 60, David Small and them, they like seeing high scores. I've heard the rumor that they actually want the scoring record to be broken there. I wholeheartedly believe that
it could be.
It could be 100%.
Bowled there enough times, it definitely could be.
Which all season scores have been astronomical. EJ's probably going to break the average record for this season. In reality, like I think actually two people could have that pop, and EJ's just going to win out on it.
Yep.
So
he's like 4. He's 2.5 pins ahead of Belmo and 4 ahead of me, and then I'm like 3 ahead of the next guy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like what EJ's doing. It really is.
It's nuts.
It's really unbelievable. I mean, it's just like it's unfathomable. Like we've seen stuff like this in the past. This is just most recent occurrence. Like Belmo has had some seasons that are unbelievable. Kyle Troop had a season. Walter Ray has had multiple seasons. This EJ season, because we're in the midst of it, we're losing to it. And the amount of opportunities that he's giving himself to win is just unbelievable. Like you hope to give yourself in a good year, and maybe you guys have different feelings on this, but in a good year, I think if you give yourself like 3 to 5 opportunities to win the tournament, I think you're bowling awesome.
Yeah. 100%.
He had that in the first 7 events.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
wild.
So
How wild.
let's get into some questions real quick, and we can get back on that. Ryan, I'm not sure how you're going to feel about this question, but fire away.
Not really overshadowed by Dad. Pretty fortunate to follow in his footsteps. It's not really yeah.
Yeah, I
Fine,
mean, if I can comment on it, it's very fun. Like I know your dad from bowling with him, bowling against him, and we've had some fun encounters, of course. I love nothing more than even when he's competing, he's coming down to check how you're bowling.
Yeah.
And like it really, honestly, like I know that that's probably distracting to him, and like you may laugh about it, but like as like a fellow competitor, like it just shows how much he cares about how well you're doing in that moment, and it is cool to see. That's gonna be my one nice thing I say about your dad today.
Never again.
Until next week, I'll say something nice. So tell him his second step looks great. Thoughts on the hustle rip? Not a ball that's getting a lot of play on the PBA tour. If I was bowling some more league stuff, longer format events where I'd be bowling like 12 to 16 games a day, I'd probably get into it more. But that's a clean ball, man. I mean, I throw iron pros a lot, but I mean that thing is another 5 feet longer than that. Donnie has a question for Ryan.
Oh boy, the Masters pattern. I did not like the Masters pattern.
Because your window is small?
My window was so small. I felt like I had early hook. Well, not felt like I did have early hook, like most people have. And I tried to chase the left like you do most of the time when you have early hook, and that was not the answer. So
if you could do it again, what would you do different?
I would just play straight and jam them, try and survive. Well, kind of like what Hoope did on my pair. So
yeah. Oh, on your pair?
On my pair. Yeah.
That's tough. How much would I contribute to Label Switch? I feel like I've answered this question every day. I think it's a culmination. That's going to be my main answer. I would say like it was the perfect time for me to make the switch. My bowling was getting better. The mental game was getting better. Huge culmination of a lot of good bowling. And then I get to go back to working with Rob Gottschall and the Storm Ball Reps, who I have had a very long and great relationship with. And then that's kind of put me over the hump. But I promise you, I'm not pleased just yet. I let a major slip away earlier this year, and so I'm hoping for another opportunity here. KP, I'm going to let you answer this first.
Okay.
I have a weird answer.
I'm indifferent. I don't really care. Technically, they are tour champions. It's just a different tour. Like same but different, I guess. I like that they don't just get like automatically in. You have to earn your way on because all of us have earned our way through winning. I think it's also a great opportunity to get, like when obviously it's an extreme example, but like Kelly Kulik winning tournament champions as her first like national title. Like it's kind of cool, but I also get where people are like, well, technically that shouldn't be a thing. Like you should be a champion before you get to bowl the tournament of champions. So, yeah, I'm very PC on this where, I'm indifferent. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard not to be indifferent now being on the other side of it, knowing that we get to bowl it every year. It's a lot easier feeling, I'm sure. For me, my first TV show was the TOC as a regional champion. So at the time, I was indifferent bowling the TV show. I'm like, am I even supposed to be on the show?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even bowling match play, every time I bowled match play, there was like 4 other non-champions in match play or 5 other, and 3 of us made the TV show. But like as I was bowling, it was just champion after champion after champion, and then I was like, I haven't even won out here yet. So I'm definitely indifferent. I do think that because it's been happening for so long now, it's kind of I'm just accustomed to it. But like let's say next year they take away the regional champions being able to do it, and then they do it again the year after, I wouldn't like that as much. But now it's kind of like now it's common. So it's just like it's another unique part of bowling, you know.
Yeah.
Here we go. KP.
Yeah,
And yes, he definitely is. Tim
he
Boyd's
is
having a great year.
crushing them this year.
Monster year, actually.
Boyd, yeah, when I lost to Cooley on Cheetah, the World Series when we were in Tampa, I was throwing it real hard up the gutter with the fast pitch, and yeah, I do it a lot on like shorter patterns. I typically have to do it when there's a lot of friction. So
we don't have that anymore.
Yeah, now it's kind of obsolete. I'll do it, maybe in some like international competitions. Where it really like comes into play for me is like if I'm bowling a house shot tournament, like Greater Ozarks or like any team singles doubles tournament that's on like a relatively easier pattern. I'll take like a Road Warrior or something like really weak Ion Pro, and I will throw it as hard as I possibly can from like 12 to 8 or 10 to 7, something like that, like really hard. And it's really good for the first 2 games because I can just keep it online and I can make the pins fly around like crazy, like Ryan does when he throws a normal.
All right, guys, we're gonna have a really fun one for a moment. Kyle, yeah, we got you. Let me just get this going real quick. Yep, that's me flagging a 5-pin and a major telecast. Yeah, eek. All right, that's my embarrassing moment on TV. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. All right, we're back.
Ryan would say the other 2.
I got you beat.
Mine, I don't know.
I like this. He's no longer Chris. He's Ryan's dad.
Yeah.
Do you know he signed every score sheet this year? Is that?
Yeah, I watched in the World Championship. Yeah. And when we bowled the match, I was like, it's already signed Ryan's dad. That's funny.
Here we go. Do you think the level will become a highly used ball? If not, I'm assuming, do you think urethane has a chance to be completely relegated? Who wants to go first? I can go first. Level, highly used. I think that there's definitely a place for it. I don't know if it's going to be as common as urethane. I actually know for a fact it won't be as common as urethane while urethane's around. The level is a niche-ish type of ball. And there is place for it. I know Ryan has used it more than most. Simo's used it a decent amount. I have not used it much. KP has tried a little bit here and there. But to answer the second part of the question, I think urethane's around to stay for quite a bit longer. But there is a lot of tournaments. There was a tournament today here in Michigan, MSBS, that was a resin only. Spare balls, you can use whatever you want. But for your first ball, you had to use reactive. And so that is becoming more common, especially in Europe as well.
Yeah, I've tried it. I think that it could be really useful. I don't know if it'll be too useful for me. Like I could see someone like Simo throwing it a lot. I just think that my ball does not read quite early enough. I think if they were to remake it and make it to where it flares a little bit more, like that's what I like about the IQ 78 is that it actually has a decent sized footprint. My level is it flares like an inch, so it doesn't have a whole lot of. It's not very dynamic, I would call it. So it just doesn't read the lane fast enough, and then as soon as I hit it with surface, it's a little like too quick for how early it is. If that makes sense, like you can tell the reactive pops out in that moment.
Yeah. The only level I had that was any good was a 3-inch pin, and the tough part about it is that it's so much different than everything else we have. You don't really know what to do once you get off. Like the regular urethane balls, you're like, okay, I'll just move a couple 5 lefts, 5 left a little slower. Peel it around that down lane carry down. But the level, yeah, I don't know.
KP, they're coming for you today, man. They're just after you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. I can open my window. To be fair, I do have a light on. It's not very bright.
Probably just the blurred out thing that's making you.
Yeah, I was gonna
You
try
need
to
to just like go to a white screen on the TV, like a super light colored screen. Are you watching golf? Is that a golf video?
No, it's not a golf video.
Trying to like see it through your glasses. All right.
There you go. That's
yes.
Is that better? Is that more
yeah, you look better.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
You look good. You look good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man.
Yeah.
Looking
Clean shaven,
solid.
clearly.
Here. He might be trying now. So, Ryan, what? Now that you've been on TV a couple times, what are you gonna do better next time?
Bro, like, as much as I want to say, like, there's some certain thing I'm gonna do, you can't just like I'm not pot committed to anything. I'd love to say I'd throw it hard and straight and control the pocket, but with what we bowl on tour, hard and straight doesn't really ever look that good. So maybe I'll try and carve out a spot to the right and throw it hard, but who knows?
Yeah, regardless of how you bowl these next couple weeks, we have a TV experience together in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Where I need your A game, and I will be lining you up. So if you need me to carve out somewhere, you tell me where.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen for you. Yeah, this is true. That would be a pleasant change.
Yeah, that would be a crazy change. I just want 60 in the second. So I want.
Tim, my man. Yeah, absolutely. Tim is a huge bowling supporter. He's a great human being. I don't even know how else to say it. That guy goes above and beyond for his buddies, and if you guys get the chance, always say hi. That's my connect on a lot of different things. And yes, I'm certainly excited to come down to Pittsburgh and bowl. And this time we're gonna come off a little better. We're gonna strike a little more. We're not done. Apparently, Patrick doesn't want us to be done with the string talks. I'm going to leave this one super simple, okay? Bowlers love to create issues that are not there. Am I wrong?
No.
Like, we are not going to bowl on string pins every single week. We're not. I mean, there's still so many centers that are free fall. I mean, bowlers are thinking that we went and bowled at Dave & Buster's. We were bowling in a very nice center. They went above and beyond for us. Yes, maybe there's a couple technical difficulties, but there are also those on free fall. And the scoring pace was not horrible. Like, we didn't shoot 270 every game on television, but like, man, does it fry me out when people think that we're supposed to average 267 on television? Like, it's just, bowling is a hard game. Go out on the easiest pattern you can and bowl 100 games. Most people would still average under 240. Like, and it's just the expectation of us averaging 265 on television is just unreal. Like, it's mind blowing. Like, we have to get over that. We have to like realize how hard of a game this actually is. It would be the same thing. Like, yes, golfers, sometimes they set them up easy for them, but like most golf tournaments, it still takes like 17 under to win. Now, yes, me and KP always have the joke. How many holes would it take me to get to 17 under? 7,000. I'd have to play 7,000 holes and have 17 birdies. Not actually, but you get where I'm going with it. But
pretty close.
Yeah, like I would love for everybody to get the experience that we have on television with the bright lights, the changing of condition. It happens so much faster, and then try to average what we do throughout the week. Generally speaking, the average on television is always going to come down a little bit. All right, that's my rant. How'd it go? All right. Sorry, I just seeing if I missed anybody. Oh, here we go. I did miss one. As a two-hander, how do I figure out how much reverse pitch to use? And will changing pitches also change my PAP? 9 out of 10 times, like most people's PAP is like what their PAP is. Like it's actually very difficult to change ball roll without doing drills for like 1 to 2 weeks. Changing your pitch is more so changing the timing in which the ball comes off your hand and or how you hold on to it. Now, how you hold on to it is very important to changing your PAP, but if you change your pitches from like, let's say half reverse to 3/4 reverse, you're not going to notice a difference. But if you go from a quarter reverse to an inch reverse, sure, like your ball roll will definitely change I would say minimally. Anybody have anything to add to that?
No.
No, it's pretty good.
Corey, when we are done, I want you to check out the first 20 minutes of this video. But yeah, we've hit on string pins quite a bit. I know it's a hot topic, right? Like I knew that going in. That's kind of why I wanted to do this video today. I was like, let's just talk about it. Let's get a couple people in that got to compete on them and get the thoughts. But yeah, I want to talk about the majors a little more. Like going into majors, I think that I want to know you guys' opinion because I feel like this year has been slightly different than years past when it comes to majors specifically. Because most times when we go to majors, we know, or for whatever reason, we either know or expect a touch lower scoring pace. And this year, the Masters was fairly difficult like normal, but I would argue the U.S. Open was a touch higher scoring than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the World Championship, I mean, I think you needed to average, 232 over 80, 90 games to make the show. So why do we think that is? Is that because I'm used to, like, when I go to a major, I have more nerves. Like starting on Tuesday, for sure, that first game, I'm going to be like, all right, let's get off to a decent start. Let's just keep ourselves in the event. But there's a chance I'm on B squad. There's a chance that somebody on A squad already has a number posted that's like 350 over.
So what's the scoring pace? Is that what you're asking
Yeah,
about?
like the main question is like, is there a difference in feel in the majors this year because of the scoring pace?
Yeah, I think we saw it a little bit at the Masters, where the Masters is typically like not necessarily low scoring, but it's kind of like medium scoring. Like USBC always puts out a relatively tough pattern, but typically the US Open is always the toughest tournament of the year. So I, like, myself included, like I went into the Masters thinking like, okay, it's probably going to take somewhere between like 207 and 212 a game to make this cut. And then we get there and actually bowl on the pattern, and it is so significantly more difficult than
They were hard.
Yeah,
like they were so much more significantly difficult than the US Open, even than the 40 whatever footer, the super long one that we always bowl on. And it was definitely tougher than the really thin one. So it's just like, I feel like as scoring paces have gotten consistently higher for every single tournament, we're like, okay, well, I'm going to have to strike a bunch. So I think guys just show up a little bit more locked in, thinking like, hey, I have to strike 7-8 times a game, no matter what the tournament is.
From shot one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, lane play for sure is more aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, ball choices. I mean, you move faster, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm very fortunate my Iron Pro has looked as good as it does. My ball changes have not been super successful. Yeah. Can we bring back gold pins for major championships? I think that'd be sweet. I think that would actually be a good middle ground between string pins and regular free fall. I think people would actually notice that like a little weight change makes a pretty big difference.
I think they should do that for all TV shows, just so.
That'd be awesome. Honestly, I love the idea of gold pins. I don't know why. Obviously, there's some nostalgia there. Let's go with KP first. How much quicker does the bright lights break down the pattern versus a normal league day?
Okay. There's a couple of differences there. Like if you're talking about like your normal like Tuesday night league, you guys most likely do not have to deal with as much rev rate as we do. So if you're able to stay in the same spot on your Tuesday night league for 5 frames before moving, like we can do it for 2, maybe 3 shots in a row, and then we're moving. So on top of the lights, I would say that brings it down. It probably shaves a frame off of that. So if the pattern's kind of thin and you have to move every 2 shots, you're moving every shot or every other shot. So for me, it's totally dependent upon what we're bowling on. And I would say if you were to bowl on your typical house pattern with the same guys, but you put TV lights on, you'd be moving every 3 to 4 frames instead of 5 to 6.
Yeah, I think you hit it pretty spot on there.
Yeah.
Schedule this year, Nevada and Michigan mostly. I personally am loving the Michigan stuff. I'm sleeping in my own bed more often. But yeah, it's still kind of hectic. I mean, we go Delaware to Indy. We go Indy to Chicago, Chicago to Missouri, Missouri to Michigan. Am I right? No, Missouri to Reno, Reno to Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan to some of us went to Wisconsin, and then we're staying in Michigan, and then we go to Ohio. So we're still bouncing around. I think the difference is we're not dabbling in Texas like we have in the past. We haven't dabbled in Florida in a long time. Yeah, I mean, the schedule is the schedule. Like, again, it kind of goes back to the string pin thing a little bit. Like, wherever I need to go, I'm going to be there to compete, and we just go from there. Make it work.
Yep.
Yes, Masters Week in a small round. Yeah, I'm telling you, I will be surprised if come Thursday during match play at the bowling center, there are not numerous bowlers with golf on their phone while they're competing. No joke.
Probably.
Whether it's right or wrong, like, I really think that will be a thing.
100%. I know there's at least one on this stream right now.
Yeah, there's 2 actually.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're bowling near each other, so maybe it's just one.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta save the phone battery. All right, we got one for Ryan.
I mean, this guy, if you want, you can just reach out to me on Instagram or something, and we can go more in depth. But it's like my favorite layouts generally just base layout 5x5x4, pretty standard. Pitches, quarter left, 7/16 right, half, 5/8. Good luck remembering all that.
Yeah, if you're I don't want to pronounce the name wrong, Azev. If you're really battling issues with the track over your finger, that's most likely, I would consider that 80% how you're holding the ball and coming over top of it. I would focus more on getting more of your palm on the ball, stretching your fingers out a touch more. Yep, getting underneath it a little more, and focusing on using the palm to direct it. I think that would help.
For sure. So,
guys, what else? We did miss a few questions. I'm trying to go back and dabble in a little bit. I don't know if the people that asked them are still here. We asked one of the questions was favorite Arsenal pieces right now. Like, what's our favorite balls we're using? How do we feel about the Belmo ball? Is Belmo watching? Probably not.
I feel like it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
it's way different than anything they've come out recently. So
yeah,
the numbers for sure, but yeah, I do think it's unique.
Yeah, I think that it will be more useful than I originally thought when I saw it. Just based on I full expected the cover to be relatively weak, and it's not. The RG is what's pushing it down the lane, not the cover. The cover I feel like is going to be pretty versatile. I think you're going to be able to leave it shiny. I think you're going to be able to use surface on it if you want. I could have 100% thrown it on the one hand versus two hand show. I'm just
showing this to let people see the ball reaction, a little bit of it. But I thought it was different. Where do you guys have it in the lineup compared to some other bowling balls?
For me, it's below Attention Star, below Origin. It's still above balls like the Road Warrior and those kind of balls, but
okay. So on the cleaner, quicker side, though.
Yeah, definitely. I would consider it to be very similar to a Virtual Energy Blackout as far as how clean it is and how responsive it is. But I feel like the Vibo had the tendency to just kind of slip past the middle part of the lane for me too easily. I don't really think this Belmo ball is going to do that. I think it's going to be pretty consistent front to back. And I hope it holds surface well. I do hope that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, You know what we didn't talk about much at all, and just in general, is like what oil we bowled on this weekend felt so much different than what we bowled on all year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Free friction.
like, yeah, like the general public won't like maybe totally get the understanding of that, but that means so much to us when we bowl on different oils. Like we feel
Mhm.
it immediately, and your ball choices change. Like people wonder why we throw the same bowling balls often, like week to week, and that's because those certain bowling balls match up to not only your style but also the oil that you're bowling on.
Yep.
Yeah, Rockstar seems like that was actually my first time throwing it in competition where I was super confident in it. I've had my like same 4 or 5 balls I've used throughout the year, phase 2s, Iron Pros, Equinoxes, stuff like that. So getting a Rockstar in my hand, I actually think that it was partially because the oil we bowled on. It's a lot more friction, the ball was hooking more freely, and I actually needed the Rockstar a little shiny to have a smoother option that got down the lane. But I do think the KP has liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. I think Rockstar is going to be a really good, like, not full step down from a phase 2, but I do see it as a cleaner version of a phase 2 that is also a little bit more responsive. So, like, if phase 2 is just a little too early, too slow, I think Rockstar is a good option if you need that symmetrical solid.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I'm gonna give everybody like a little bit longer to get some last minute questions in there, but I certainly appreciate you guys joining me last minute here. KP is traveling over in the morning to get ready for Jackson. Ryan's already in Michigan. Most of the bowlers are here in Michigan, ready to go. It's gonna be, I do believe it's gonna be a high scoring event. Gonna need some strikes, but I think that this is the week where we start to see some squeezing and some pressure, because it is actually a lot of people's last events of the year if they don't have a title. So the pressure's on. The heat of the battle for the playoffs is here. A lot of points on the line. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully everybody tunes into Bowl TV, watches it, cheers us on, cheer Ryan on at not only this week, but the regional next weekend. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to get some more content out for you guys. Jillian and I are going to work hard this summer to get as much as we can to you. Follow Ryan on social media, him and his old man. We're an emphasis on the old. Do a lot of content. Do a lot of content on YouTube, any social media platform. And of course, follow KP. KP and I travel together. We could do a lot of stuff together. I'm sure this will not be the last time that we get on here. So again, thanks everybody, and thanks to you too. I'm going to hammer out these last couple questions, but just want to say thank you. You guys have anything else?
No, I'm good. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, guys. All right, boys. I will see you tomorrow.
See you.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining in. If you haven't already, again, please subscribe. Thank you to Jillian in my chat a little bit. She deserves all the love for making this kind of stuff happen. And hopefully some good things to come in Michigan. Having an opportunity at a major title in Michigan doesn't come all that often. And so we want to try to take full advantage of it. I will, leave some comments in the YouTube chat, and I will try to answer them if I miss them tonight. But thank you guys, and tune into Bowl TV this week.